These windows have been in this house for about 18 years. They're old, they're weathered, and frankly, they're just not getting the job done. So today we're going to replace these old windows with newer, stronger, more energy efficient ones. Of course, a lot of companies make windows. Today we're putting in windows by Simonton. They have keep safe glass in them by Solutia. And joining me today with Solutia is Mark Montgomery. Good to see you, Mark.
Nice to see you, Glenn.
Now, let's talk about this keep safe thing. What does that mean?
Keep safe glass, Glenn, is basically the same glass that's in your automobile windshield. What it is, it's a tough plastic inner layer that's sandwiched between two pieces of glass, making these windows extremely tough to shatter, very hard to get through.
They have UV protection, of course, and basically windows these days are a combination of technologies over the past 50 or 60 years, but finally someone's brought them to the home, and of course we got the safety goggles and the gloves, and that means we're going to do a test.
Exactly. I want you to try to get through this window, Glenn.
Okay, and I can use this crowbar here?
Yep, we brought a crowbar along for you.
Not just a wimpy hammer.
Right.
Now this should crack at least, right?
It'll crack, but the shards of glass will stay adhered to the inner layer, and you're not getting through this.
Okay, we'll see. Here we go. Okay, I definitely cracked the glass, but a home with these windows, a criminal's going to have a tough time getting in.
Exactly.
Mark's going to take us through the major steps of the installation. The first part, of course, we have to get rid of the old window. We're heating it up right now to loosen up that sealant.
Exactly, Glenn. We're taking this sealant. The first step is to remove the old glass and get the frame ready for deinstallation.
We have some help with us as well from Joel Berry Company. We have Pat and Bobby on the other side. The window's nice and loose now. It should be.
Okay.
Pull it on through, guys. We're removing the old window frame completely to install our new window. Now, Mark, you have a contractor doing this at your house.
Yes.
He's removing your frames. I see damage right here on the drywall. How do you make sure that you as the homeowner are not responsible for that?
That's very important, Glenn. At the time that you're putting the contract together, you need to clearly spell out what it is that's covered in the installation and the demolition, so that all damage would be taken care of by the contractor.
Now, I noticed as we put in our new double window, this vinyl one's a lot thicker than the old aluminum one. What are the other major differences?
Well, Glenn, the major differences are that vinyl is a lot more thermally efficient. These windows are fully welded, which makes them air and watertight. And additionally, both of these sash will tilt in to clean. So it makes it very easy, they're very low maintenance, and a lot better than the old windows.
Okay, now all we have to do is bolt them in place.
Just screw them through the jambs, into the studs.
We're inside the house now. We have a big gap here, some dead air space. We're going to fill that in with insulation. The old window didn't have that. We're going to do it right this time, Mark. Now, does it matter what type of insulation we use here?
Glenn, it really doesn't matter the type of insulation that you use. This is fiberglass insulation, and it works very nicely and is easy to put in place.
Now, we're going to take that all the way down, and we're eventually, of course, going to cover this gap.
Exactly. On the outside, we'll go in and caulk the outside to make it weather tight. And then we'll come back in on the interior of the house, and we'll put a nice piece of trim in here to finish it off and make it look just perfect.
Now, we're replacing the windows around the whole house, and these are custom fit windows, so we did some measuring, some exact measuring. So I have to ask you this, Mark, exact measuring, but we still have gaps and spaces. Why?
Great point. We took very careful measurements on these window openings, but we never know what we're going to get into when we pull out one of these old windows. The house settles, the opening shifts, they're never quite exactly right. So we end up with some gaps like we saw in the other room, and we treat them just like we did in the other room with some trim. We paint that trim to match the interior, and then we move on.
Here's a problem, a potential problem, but I don't know who the problem's for, the homeowner or the contractor, because we had vinyl siding put up, then the windows were put in, the vinyl siding had to be ripped out. Who's responsible now to replace this?
Glenn, good point. Ideally, you'd install your vinyl siding after the windows are installed, so you can butt that vinyl siding right up against the window. In this case, we had to pull the vinyl siding away, and consequently, it now needs to be replaced. That's going to be a couple of $100 extra, and that needs to be added into the contract, so the homeowner has to be aware of that.
Before the windows are installed?
Before the windows are installed.
It took us a full day to complete this installation. Mark, I want to thank you and your crew and Solutia for all your help.
Thanks, Glenn. We enjoyed it.
Great job.